Welcome, everybody. Make yourself comfortable, get your snacks. We are going to be talking about Black people and cancel culture in this video. You already know I'm going to be sharing some unpopular opinions. Okay, so I'm gonna do a response video to like the backlash that I'm seeing with Lululemon. I only like to talk about something if I'm constantly seeing this behavior over and over and over because I like psychology and I like to unpack patterns sometimes. And I noticed that Black people have this tendency. So basically, the backstory is, Lululemon for the longest has been a thing that majority of like the white girlies were into. For decades, it has been a certain type of person that was more so drawn to Lululemon, usually like the fit, slim gym girlies. The demographic was definitely white people for the longest. And Lululemon, it's athletic clothes, by the way. And it wasn't until recently that Black people kind of picked up on Lululemon, and you see Black people in the hood sometimes like wearing Lululemon now. Lululemon is now officially popular amongst hood culture. So if you walk around in the hood, you will now see a bunch of girls wearing Lululemon, and there's even a rap song about Lululemon. I also noticed that there has been a large amount of plus size girls in the clothing as well. That did not used to be a thing, okay, as a collective. So I guess they're trying to cancel Lululemon because I guess Lululemon had made some shady comments. This is just what I'm hearing. I tried to investigate further and I couldn't really see. I literally looked up what did Lululemon say that was, prejudice or whatever, and nothing really popped up. Like, I'm not seeing anything. So I think what they said was they only want like a certain type of person in their clothes. He said that his leggings does not work for some women's bodies. Essence.com said in a recent interview with Forbes, Wilson openly aired his grievances discussing how he dislikes Lululemon's whole diversity and inclusion thing. Wilson didn't shy away from controversy, alluding to his distaste for the models being used in ads, who he described as looking unhealthy and sickly and not inspirational. The billionaire also added, they're trying to become like Gap, everything to everybody. And I think the definition of a brand is that you're not everything to everybody. You've got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in.
I think through this whole diversity and inclusion thing that they've become trying to become like the Gap, everything to everybody. And I think just the definition of a brand is that you're not everything to everybody. You've got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in.
Interesting to say the least. Wilson also criticized the people used in the company's ads, calling them unhealthy and sickly. Now, this is not the first time that Wilson has gotten some backlash for controversial comments. He resigned as CEO a decade ago, more than a decade ago, after he said, quote, some women's bodies don't actually work for the yoga pants.
So if you know Lululemon, most people, they buy the brand for the quality and the lifestyle. For the longest, it was middle to upper class women who were very fit and wearing those clothes as like leisure and stuff like that. So yeah, he was able to have his brand for the longest carry a meaning and a vibe behind it. He had resigned from the brand a long time ago, and I guess he's watching the brand from the outside looking in, and he's just not liking how inclusive things have came with the brand, because his vision for the brand when he created it was to target a specific audience. Well, that's what most brands do. They have a targeted audience that they want to wear their clothes. He did not make specific comments about Black people. Black people just kind of, assumed it was about them. And I'll just read a few comments that I seen in the comment section of TikTok. One person said, he was definitely talking about bigger people. They literally have mixed and Black people on their website. So I'm just showing you the evidence to back up that person's comment. So they have a ton of Black models on their site. And I think they have always had Black models. Another person said, I didn't hear him say anything about Black people. Another person said, why when Black people hear diversity, y'all instantly think it's about skin color? Another person said, certain customers does not equal Black. Y'all need to let the victim mindset go. My God. Another person said, if you think men as old and wealthy as him care about being canceled, right. And then another person said, he never said black people, you guys are dragging it. Exactly. Like, why are you trying to make everything about race? So, those were the contrarian opinions on TikTok. But most people were outraged, and there's a lot of policing going on. And if you're a black girl wearing Lululemon, your comment section is going to be flooded with them reminding you that they don't like black people in their clothes, which from my research, that is not what the CEO or whatever said. That is just what black people read in between the lines and came up with on their own. Okay, but here's the deal, because this is a pattern. I don't really want to like make this video about Lululemon too much, because I'm not trying to defend Lululemon. I want to call out like the pattern that I'm always noticing in black people. And I noticed that because of history, the way we operate is like one big trauma response. So I noticed that black people in general, they always have to make sure that like a brand likes them or this person likes them. You even see this with celebrities. Women will love a person's music, but like, for example, Chris Brown, if he doesn't date black women, it's like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to listen to your music anymore. Black women used to literally harass Chris Brown about his preference. And, they just wanted to know, do you date black women? Just so they can know if they should support his music or not. And it was so bad to the point where Chris Brown had to come out and make an announcement. And by the way, I don't think Chris Brown has ever verbally said that he does not date black women. It's just, obviously looking at his exes and stuff, reading in between the lines, that's what black women came up with. But no, it got so bad, black women needing to seek approval from strangers to validate their self, that Chris Brown himself had to come out and just, clear some things up, and he expressed his frustrations with that. So I'll play the clip.
And I just gave up to the point where I don't even say my preference, because like girls get so offended and so mad. Well, he said he only likes these kind of girls, and if we're fans, he doesn't want to talk to us. Like, they get so offended. So I'm like, yo, you know what? I don't have a preference. So if I'm intrigued by you, I'm intrigued by you. So just do you. Be yourself.
The femcel types of black women needed his approval so much to validate their self. So you see this behavior a lot with black people in just different categories. That's why I don't want to really focus too much on Lululemon, because if it wasn't Lululemon, it'd be something else next week. Every other week, it is always a new brand that black people are investigating and just trying very hardly to see if the brand likes them, and then if not, cancel the brand. Anyone who's doing an entire video dissecting Lululemon, it's just not smart to me, because it'll be something else next week and it'll be something else the month after that. These cycles just never end, and I want to talk about the never ending cycle. Black people, I feel like it's not healthy to walk around always worried if somebody likes you. Like, that's not normal. But I understand why we're like this. We're like this because slavery and all the trauma that we went through history, it's trained us to be this way. We're trained to seek the approval from, the master, the white man. It's like a trauma response. It's like a miserable way to live your life. And I was talking about this with a friend. I am so tired of like black people. It's like, before you enjoy something, you have to do research to make sure that the person likes you. You know what I mean? Okay. So if that's the case, do research to make sure that the toothbrush that you use in the morning, make sure that that brand likes you. Okay. Make sure, that brush that you use to comb your hair, go ahead and check if they like you before you use it. Okay. The laces on your shoes, make sure that brand likes you. Okay. Like, do you see how kind of like unhinged and crazy and not normal this way of operating is? I'm just gonna finally speak up about this. And it's not really about Lululemon, it's just that certain things that black people do make no sense. Like, what is the sense of nitpicking certain brands? I don't get it. Like, if you're gonna do one brand, you might as well just do all the brands, right? So, the iPhone that you're using to watch my video off of, Double check and make sure that the CEO likes black people, okay? Before you can use it. The weave that you buy from the beauty supply store, make sure the vendors like black people, okay? Do your research on everything then. They always find one brand, one random brand to nitpick. Every week they're nitpicking one random brand that they have put on a pedestal, to cancel, and it's just ridiculous. You're like a walking hypocrite. Everything that you have on, double check everything in your house and make sure that they like black people. Nobody's taking this seriously. It's every week, every month. Haha, this is the brand I'm gonna investigate. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's like low IQ behavior. And then, yeah, their excuse is, well, I don't want to support brands that don't support me. But it makes no sense. Why nitpick one brand? Why are black people so obsessed, hyper focused, and preoccupied with the approval of white people? And if white people like them or not? I don't think that that's a normal way to operate. It's just sad what history has done to us. Because let me tell you something. Because growing up around like non black people, so white people, and then also like living around black people, it taught me a lot. And I noticed it's like polar opposites. So black people, they constantly have white people's approval on their mind 24/7. You even see this in their talking points. They say things like, but see, white people would never do that. Like, you hear this when they casually talk. It always goes back to white people. So I think that that's like a psychological trauma response because of everything that we've went through in history. We're trained to seek the approval, like, master, am I doing well? Do you like me, master? Am I doing a good job, master? So I noticed that black people tend to think like that. But when I lived around white people, one of the things that I noticed is they rarely as a collective are like constantly worried about black people. They're not. White people are worried about white people things. That's one thing I will say. They're worried about Taylor Swift, and they barely even know most black celebrities that like are popular in the black community. Like, when you see the interviews of them like butchering their names, yeah, that's really how it be. So I noticed that the beef is like one-sided. Like, it's some black people, I noticed that they go their whole life just assuming that like all white people are just out to get them. I am not denying racism at all. There are definitely racist people, and especially depending on where you go, especially like places in the South. But I noticed that black people are always preoccupied with the approval of white people. And see, psychologists can't unpack this because it's inappropriate. It's like crossing boundaries, but I know they would agree with my videos. I know they would. And I just don't think that that's a normal way to live your life. And so sometimes people, they misinterpret my message and they'll act like, well, are you ignoring the problem? No, I'm just not living my life on miserable mode. I live my life with my hair down. I live my life like a normal person. I don't live my life like a trauma response. So when I go into the store, I'm not preoccupied with, well, does this brand, do they like me? I don't need external validation because my parents already validated me as a kid. And therefore, as an adult, I validate myself. You know what I mean? I just want to go into a store and shop. I don't want to be preoccupied with, does this brand like me? Is this brand racist? Does this brand like me? No. I just want to shop. I just feel like constantly being super serious, always needing someone's approval, always want to make sure a person likes you before you do anything. I feel like you're sending your nervous system, it's in this like high alert state 24/7. It's like you're giving your body trauma. You're putting your body in shock. You can never just relax. Like, I noticed some black people can't relax. I am the type of black person, I bring things back to slavery. Slavery was so traumatic. I feel like you still see the effects till this day, even in our food. We still be eating slave food. Like soul food, like chitlins and stuff like that, that's slavery food. The slave masters would give, the worst parts of the pig to the slaves, which was the intestines. You know what I mean? Like, we still, and even in casual conversations, I was watching this one channel and she just casually goes, but see, white people would never do that. And it's like, wow, I'm not white. I don't care. Well, For a lot of people, my messages are hard to digest because we're used to hearing toxic advice from Black people. I'm just telling you how to not live your life on miserable mode. I remember, I think it was Candace Owens and Kelly Stamps actually talked about this, and they just expressed that they noticed this too, where Black people, it's like they get around white people and then they make everything about like, oh, is this a microaggression? Do you like, does she like me? Does she like me? Like you could do a fun event, right? And it'll be like, let's say an event with like a lot of white people. I don't know, like golfing. And then instead of enjoying the event, you're hyper focused on, does this person like me? Do they like me? Are they shading me? Are they aggressing me? And Candace Owens and Kelly Stamps had actually said, like, when they don't experience life like that, when they do activities where there's mostly white people, they just enjoy themselves. They enjoy the activity. They're not constantly on guard and waiting for a racist moment to happen, basically. And then I think I remember Kelly Stamps had said something like when she was in the airport, a fan that was Black came up to her, and then the fan was basically saying like, cause you know how it'd be for us Black folks, right? And these white folks. And then Kelly was like, no, I don't know how it is because I just enjoy my life. So I feel like being too woke, it really gets to a point where it becomes toxic. Like, remember the days when we just used to shop and just mind our business? But I mean, we see this even on YouTube. Everybody is just super nosy. They always want to know people's personal thoughts and personal life. Like, that's why people get doxxed. It's like, no, I want to know more about you. I want to know, you know what I mean? Like, humans did not used to operate this way. So that's just what came to mind. I was just like, you know what? I don't care who likes me. I'm going to take up the space wherever I'm at, and I'm not walking around checking for your approval. Here I am. And what? And I'm going to be a good time, and I'm going to smile, and I'm going to keep my head high, and I'm going to be classy. I'm not going to live my life. You can't even do anything. You can't go nowhere without, is this person shading me? Is this person being a Karen? Are they, you know what I mean? And we see, like I said, we see this behavior with celebrities. If you go on the Black side of YouTube, a lot of the videos, it's like, before I give this person my support, even though I am in love with their music, does he date Black women? Who cares? Who cares? A person does not have to date you. Why do you need so much approval from strangers? That's what I want to know. It's not even just about Lululemon. You guys do this in every category. You literally won't listen to a person's music if they don't date people like you. Like, it's so weird to want the approval of a random stranger that owes you nothing. I think Black people have low self esteem as a collective. It's just clear as day. They need to work on their confidence. Instead of creating these trauma dumping channels where you're just trauma bonding, and find new channels like mine that promote a different, like somebody said that my channel is like a new outlook on life. Exactly. Like, find channels that will challenge your beliefs instead of creating this trauma emotional bonding circle. I noticed that a lot of Black people like to do that. Black people are just ruled by their emotions. And this is a topic that I feel like psychologists can't really touch on because, y'all would cancel them. So I'm just going to touch on this topic. The way you guys operate, constantly needing to see if someone likes you before you can just simply enjoy their music or enjoy their products, it's toxic. Ask yourself, why do you need so much approval? Why do you need everyone to like you? It's like narcissistic to me. Everybody is not going to like me, and that's totally fine because I like me. My partner likes me. My best friend likes me. And that, like, I don't need random strangers to like me. You know what I mean? I like me. So, yeah, like I said, I'm tired of the nitpicking brands. I think I'm just tired of that. Listen, keep that same energy with everything that you do. If Lululemon said this and you're investigating to make sure this brand likes you, okay, investigate to make sure the toothbrush that you're using, make sure that that brand likes you. Okay, make sure Colgate likes you. Okay? Make sure the bread in your house, make sure they like you. You know that pack of water that's sitting on the floor, make sure that that brand likes you as well. Okay? You see what I mean? It gets to a point where it starts to become insanity and you're living your life like a hamster on a wheel. It just becomes very extreme. No, because what I'm saying makes sense. Why nitpick one brand? Nitpick everything in your life then. How about that? But no, seriously, when it comes to this topic of just black people being preoccupied all the time and frustrated and angry with white people, which I understand, it kind of reminds me of like a bitter ex where, okay, yes, the person was a narcissist, they did bad things to you in the past, but that person has moved on with their life and they're not affected by it. But the victims, black people of it, it's like they're still mentally affected by these things till this day and it rules over their life. It dictates their life. That's what I notice. Because like I said, when I lived around white people, I noticed that they don't go around constantly just talking and worrying about black people. They don't as a collective. When you're around black people, it's like they're always preoccupied with the toxic ex, which was, white people. I'm just using an analogy. I just realized, like, the history that we have with white people, it has really done a number on black people. It really has. And it's like we are free physically, but mentally we're not free. Mentally, we are still enslaved. And it just reminds me of those women that can't stop talking about the narcissistic ex. Meanwhile, the narcissist is off living their life. And they're on YouTube channels and making TikToks like spiritual whistleblower, still talking about this ex that has moved on and lived his life. So it's like you're physically free from the person that treated you wrong, but mentally you're still enslaved. You know what I mean? That's just what I noticed about black people. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Um, it's not that I'm ignorant. It's that I like to live my life happy. Okay, maybe ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? But like, hey, your method, I see it's clearly not working. You're constantly on edge. You're constantly in fight or flight mode. You can't even enjoy activities because you're constantly looking on your shoulder, just waiting for, a Karen to try it. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't be me, babe. I'm a good time. Here I am. I take up the space and I own the space. I don't care if you like me. And see, I've never been a people pleaser. That's just one thing about me. I've always been a I don't care. I've always had that type B, I don't care type of personality. And that's why people like me. The main ones that get ignored in society, men don't want them, nobody wants to be their friend, is because you're constantly like, people can see that energy. You're constantly worried. Do you like me? Do you like me? Is my skin color good enough? And that turns people off. It's like reverse psychology. And I was just talking about this. I think the reason why I have always been extremely popular my whole life, people just want to be friends with me, is because I don't care about having friends. Either you like me or you don't. Take me or leave it. That attitude, that I don't care attitude, it's attractive. It's hot. It's like alluring. It draws people in. It makes people want to be around you and want to be your friend. So I've never walked around insecure. Oh my god, do you like me because I'm black? Like I don't live my life like that. You even see this on my YouTube channel. I have never ever. You can't find a single video of me telling anyone to subscribe to me. Even on YouTube, I have that I don't care personality. And I feel like that's actually why I have an audience. Y'all just came on your own, but I never was like desperate for subscribers. I don't care if you subscribe to me or not. And I noticed that attitude, it works as like reverse psychology and it makes people subscribe to me even more. It draws people in. You know what I mean? That's what I noticed. I've never been like, oh my god, please guys, please come on, give me the 10K, please. Like I don't walk around like that. I don't care. So even in real life, I noticed that. Like I always attract people to me. And it's because I have that I don't care personality type. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section. Is it just me, or have you also always thought these things? Also, if I open your mind to a new perspective, let me know too. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!